Tunisia today.
Well, for more on all of this, we're joined by Christian Whiton, former State Department senior advisor. Christian, I guess we want to be glad that Muammar Gaddafi is clinging by his fingernails to power. Looks like he's on his way out, but who comes in next?
Well, Jonathan, it will be the Transitional National Council. You know, that is a body about which Albania and Washington have lamented we know very little about. But, you know, this is a group of people that's more knowable and better known to us than, frankly, in any of the other revolutions that have swept across the Middle East. They do have a plan in place. They brushed it up at the end of July and have been working on it since over how to take control, transition into power, and stand up a democratic government with a president. There'll be a lot of turbulence ahead. But actually, I think there's cause for significant optimism on the road ahead in Libya.
Yeah, you sound fairly positive.
Yeah, I think I think things on the ground in Libya will look a lot better, frankly, than they did in Egypt, and certainly a lot better in Baghdad. A lot of inappropriate analogies being drawn to the post-war situation in Iraq, and Tripoli is a lot different. Libya is not sandwiched between Syria and Iran, two regimes that want, frankly, the worst to happen. They're next door to countries like Morocco, Tunisia, and also in Egypt, so a lot of better factors at play here. Frankly, John, I think the bigger story is what this war says about the broader strategic environment we now find ourselves in.
And what does that say to you? I mean, what's the answer to that question?
Well, I think some new realities are becoming apparent both abroad and domestically. Most significant to me, I think, is the increasing irrelevance of NATO and of Western Europe. This should have been NATO's finest hour. They just contributed to a war that was concluded successfully. But frankly, from the beginning, it's now apparent that NATO is really nothing without the United States. We were dragged into this war somewhat reluctantly by France and Britain. Our role was supposed to be transitional at the beginning, but it became apparent that even a modest air operation couldn't be pulled off without the U.S. and the American taxpayer contributing more than 75% of the military and the dollar. So, you know, we've talked about a point in the future where Western Europe and NATO become less relevant. I'd say that's now the present.
And if you are Assad in Syria, are you shaking in your shoes a bit more right now because of what's happened to Gaddafi?
Certainly doesn't look good. And, you know, another untold story of all these revolutions is that the fake republics, the dictatorships dressed up as sort of pseudo-democracies, have not fared very well at all. They fared much worse than the monarchies, frankly. So Assad, another sort of head of a fake republic, I think should have a lot to worry about. The revolution there, the uprising there, has taken a different and perhaps even a smarter path, one of nonviolence, at least on their part. The regime is being extremely violent. And the fact that it persists despite levels of violence that frankly would even make the Chinese government blanch, I think is a testament to the quality of that dissent movement.
Christian Whiton is a former State Department senior advisor. Christian, thank you. And our viewers can catch more of Christian in about an hour. He'll join Jonathan Hunt online at live.foxnews.com. You can get all the breaking news out of Libya there 24